Hi and welcome back to the channel, and in today's episode I think we'd better start prepping for the biggest event in the WA rally calendar. Okay, so I know the last video update was getting the VR4 restoration done, and we have got a little bit more work done on that, and unfortunately that's come to a bit of a halt at the moment because we're waiting on some parts to arrive. We ordered them some time ago and they haven't come in yet, so at the moment we are in the process of prepping for the Forest Rally. So we're going to take you through what's required to prep for a rally and then the rally itself. So to begin with, we're starting with this Hyundai XL. It has come out of the eastern states. It's going to start competing in WA. Go through the mechanical bits and pieces we're going to do checks on and whatever. We'll also take you behind the scenes a bit in what's required to actually prep for a rally of this size. Okay, so I already got into it this morning before I got the camera set up, just to change the oil there. It's just about all out now. Pretty standard stuff there as far as that goes. Those of you that follow the channel will know I've said on quite a few occasions, our rule of thumb is to change the oil in rally cars roughly every 100 kilometres competitive, give or take. So for state championship events that are usually 100 plus kilometres, it's usually once an event. And for clubman rallies that are usually half the distance, it's usually every 2 events. To check out the brakes, the rotors are not too bad on this actually. They're in pretty good shape, which is great because XL rotors are not the easiest to change. They're a bit of a pain in the neck. You've actually got to destroy the wheel bearings and effectively replace the wheel bearings when you replace the rotors in them, so it's not the easiest job. However, hopefully the camera will pick that up. You can probably see this one's particularly bad. That's if the camera will pick that up. These brake pads are toast. They have been well and truly cooked. I'm not sure what brand they are, but we have ordered some new race brake pads for that. And the customer did say that every now and then he's getting a bit of brake fade or a bit of a spongy pedal. So it's quite possible that these are like a standard pad and they are not coping with the heat and probably causing a bit of drama. So I have ordered a set of race brake pads for these. They'll be here next week, so we'll have to pop these back in for the time being. The new pads that we're putting in are proper rally brake pads, and they will definitely give some very good stopping. Everything else is pretty much checked out okay in here. The customer had the suspension serviced before the car was brought to WA, so I believe they've all been done and they look like they're in pretty good shape. The only thing we do need to do is secure the brake lines back to the struts properly so that they're not floating around. It's no major drama. We've been around the car now and had a good look underneath it. Actually, most of it's pretty good. There's nothing too serious under here. While we're on the subject of control arms, I get asked quite regularly about making stronger parts because these do bend. It's not common to just Hyundai XLs, Subarus and many other cars suffer with the same things. And the short answer is yes, and the long answer is no. You have to be a little bit careful with strengthening up parts and what parts you choose to strengthen. Basically, in a rally car, you need a weak point somewhere, and you generally want a weak point which is quite easy to replace if needs be. So let's say that we strengthen these control arms up and made them super solid so that they didn't bend. That's great. But then what happens is that the load of something like going into a ditch or hitting a large pothole or whatever has to be transferred somewhere, and ultimately it can be transferred back further into the car, into more structural parts. So it could end up in the subframe, or in the case of the XLs, they use like a semi chassis sort of system, and it could end up in here where it could do more damage, could end up bending this part of the monocoque of the car, which is a lot worse. And the same with the Subarus as well. If the load's transferred too far backwards, it can actually end up on the mount, which is actually welded to the body. So in some regards, it's better to bend the control arm, which is easily replaceable in service and relatively cheap, rather than larger problems that could A, put you out of a rally or be very expensive to repair. The other thing we have done already under here was there was a leak in the washer bottle pipe to the window washers. So we've had to cut that back. That meant pulling the inner guard lining out there and just getting in there and sorting that out. But anyway, that's done now. A couple of things I'm going to show you here. One is how to clean, first of all, clean a reusable air filter. This one is a K&N brand. There's a few different types on the market, but they all follow the same principle. I'm actually using the K&N cleaner stuff here. So first of all is give it a spray. This one's actually not too bad considering it did Bakers Hill. It was very dusty. It's not in terrible shape. So once you've got some of their water-based degreaser in it, then the next step is to use some low pressure water and give it a rinse out. You should start on the inside first and just give it a rinse out just to wash the dust. The whole idea is to wash any dirt out of the filter rather than wash it in. And then afterwards just give it a bit of a light wash over on the outside. Like I said, this one's not in too bad a shape at all, so it only needs a light clean. The other filter I'm going to show you in a minute, that was, yeah, very dirty, and I'll explain why in a minute. Whilst the Impreza's filter is outside, this is an opportunity to sort the XL filter out. Now, the trick with this is, again, using the K&N brand air filter oil. There's a few different types on the market, but it's a K&N filter. The trick with these is to hold them away. Just sort of make sure the oil is evenly covered over the surface without drowning it. And that is enough oil. Now, the reason that this air filter was really dirty, this one out of the XL, was it actually had a bit too much oil in it. It was actually flooded with oil, and it had so much oil in it that there was liquid oil on the inside of the intake when we removed this out of the car. So this one is now pretty good to go. I'll just give it a little bit of just a wipe over the rubber there just to clean it up a little bit. This particular car's had a custom air box made for it to house a pod filter. It's not a bad idea at all. It just helps to keep some of the water and mud and a bit more of the dust out of it. This particular one has a slot here at the front to allow air to come through. Now, something else that I am asked on a regular basis is, can you run pod filters dry, or can you run a pod filter with if you have an airflow meter in the car? And the answer is yes. However, you have to be a bit careful. Basically, what you need to do is you can either run the pod filter dry, so wash the pod filter out first if it comes pre-oiled. If it's not pre-oiled, confirm that it is dry and there's no oil in it, and just run it as it is. Or if you are going to run oil on it, you need to really, really lightly dust coat the filter element only. What I've just showed you was too much oil for a airflow metered application. You really need to hold some substantial distance away from the oil and really just give it a very, very light dust coat with that, because like I said, particularly with the Subarus and the airflow meters, it is very common for the airflow meter to end up sucking in the oil, and then that burns the airflow meter out. Yep. Good. The exhaust is still in position where it's supposed to be. Well, mate,
Thanks, Carl.
3 times last year I had to replace Tiana's exhaust as well. So you're not the only one, mate.
So it's not my driving.
It's not just you, not just you, mate. It's a cold and wet day out there today, and it's pretty cool in the workshop. Just pressing on with the last few bits and pieces on the cars now. It's getting pretty close, and there's not a lot of time left to the rally, only a matter of days. In the background, Damien has been working on the Lancer. We had to do a few things on the Lancer. One of the interesting things was the engine mounts, or the transmission mounts, both front and rear on the car, broke. And I was having a bit of gear selection trouble on the last event at Bakers Hill. So we replaced both of those. There was also a bit of strange wiring around the trip computer there. We use Monit computers in these. It was already in the car. So Damien got in there and sorted that one out. The XL already, we've stripped all the stickers off it. It's one of those strange quirks where basically the Forest Rally, being a round of the Australian Rally Championship, has a different set of series sponsors and stickers in comparison to the State Championship. So we do Bakers Hill with all the State Championship stuff on it, and then get to Forest Rally the next round and have to remove all of those stickers. And then for the next rally after that, put them all back on again. Just a quick tip, as you can probably see, I'm using a heat gun here on the stickers. It does make it much easier to pull the stickers off. If you don't have access to a heat gun, hot water works pretty well. Boil the kettle and then get a bit of hot water on it. It just helps to soften the adhesive on the sticker and makes it easier to peel them off, especially today where it is quite cool outside. It's only like 10 or 12 degrees or something out there. It's sort of our first taste of the cool weather as we're coming into the winter, and it'll make it much easier to get all these stickers off. And basically those little lines there are just a bit of residual adhesive on there, and that will come off with a tiny bit of methylated spirits. So what's left to do on these cars? Well, the Impreza, this is pretty much sorted out now. Really, it's just a matter of organising a wheel alignment for it. We got scrutineering next week on Tuesday. The XL, we're just waiting on front brake pads to come in for that. They did get a text message this morning to say they're due for delivery today, so hopefully that's done and that'll be sorted out, and then that's pretty much our list of stuff on the XL sorted out, and that should be good to go. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, we also fitted a LED light bar to the XL. Generally in the Clubman you don't need a light bar, and we have just fitted the lights on this as a temporary measure or a backup, just in case for some reason the rally gets delayed. And it's a question I get asked all the time. You know, if a rally is going to be a daylight rally, why do we need to take lights? And my advice with that is take lights all the time, have lights for the car, because usually not long after the first car starts, the rally is running late. That is just the nature of the beast with rallying, and it's not uncommon for a rally to be delayed, sometimes several hours. We have had situations, I've been an event organiser where that's happened. There's been an incident, you have to stop the rally to deal with that incident and then restart the rally again, and you can sometimes lose, 2 or 3 hours. If you haven't got lights, it may mean finishing the rally on your headlights, and that is not an ideal situation.
I'm too upright.
Yeah.
Once you put your helmet on, you're sitting like that.
Yeah.
Whereas, so
Had
it
that
needs to
problem
be-
for a year and a half,
Yeah, I did.
but I don't now.
No.
No, but anyway, we had it recording the other day, so you probably...
The countdown is definitely on to the Forest Rally. There's only a few days to go before the event. I think with only a few bits and pieces left to do on the car, we'll end this video here. However, that's not the end of our preparations for the Forest, and I'll take you on the journey. Next week we've got to go to scrutineering, so we'll go through that, and then our actual prep and getting down to the rally, and then with any luck, if the weather is nice enough, we'll be able to film on the rally as well and take you through that. So thanks very much for watching. Please like, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll catch you again soon. Cheers.